Hello. Fuck. Hello there, people. Friends of Mill Road Bridge speaking. This is a message for Matthew Winterbottom, all the people who have supported Friends of Mill Road Bridge, and all the people who are against the Friends of Mill Road Bridge. There's a message for Cam Cycle, Mill Road for People, and any resident of the Mill Road area and Cambridge, and anybody else who's interested, really. I haven't made a video for a very long time, because basically getting involved in local politics in Cambridge has made me absolutely sick to my stomach, and I really, really don't like it, and I haven't had a lot of time to make these sort of things anymore, but this one is obviously very important. It was brought to my attention this morning that there's a bit of a spat kicking off on next door, because Pam Wesson, the chair of Friends of Mill Road Bridge, has confirmed that she spent some of the money on a round of beers and a Chinese meal. Obviously this doesn't look very good, and the enemies of the Friends of Mill Road Bridge are now going to use this to their full advantage to try to undermine the campaign. So I just wanted to address this thing, to hopefully put some minds at rest and to bring a bit of perspective and calm-headed analysis into the picture here. I didn't have any of the Chinese food. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware that beer had been bought. Now that I've heard about it, obviously I think, well, that's obviously not a good look for the Friends, and but at the same time, let's just put it into some perspective here, shall we? The person who made that post, Matthew Winterbottom, or Winter something, is one of this clique, and he uses the word clique in his post, accusing Friends of Mill Road Bridge of being a clique. We're not a clique. Anybody is welcome. We always say that people can come to our meetups, even people who are against what we're doing. We want to talk and be open. Bear in mind that this campaign to close the bridge has been going on for about 3 years now already. When it was reopened the first time, or while it was closed, there were 3 petitions which got nearly 5,000 signatures to reopen the bridge. When they voted to reopen the bridge, Jerry Bird, the councillor, was inundated by abusive tweets and texts, 100 a day apparently, she said, and threats were made against her life. Now, why would threats be made against a councillor's life for reopening the bridge? At the same time as that, the group Mill Road for People was formed. It's an offshoot of Cam Cycle, which is a campaign lobbying group who live off active travel funding. And they spent 2 years campaigning based on lies to close the bridge, saying that they were going to clean up the air and make the road safer. None of those two are actually true. In fact, the clean air argument has been debunked so many times, it is now an outright lie. And it's been confirmed by the council's solicitors that that is not one of the intended aims of closing the bridge. My work has been to highlight this ongoing feud in the Mill Road area, and to bring some analysis to it. And I've been censored and suppressed 2 times by people on Nextdoor. Now, Nextdoor is a cesspit of lies and misinformation, and sometimes abuse as well. And there's this group who have campaigned to close the bridge. They have nothing better to do than to sit online and spread lies and naysay and argue with people who they don't agree with. And to call Friends of Mill Road Bridge cliquey is the pot calling the kettle black, because Mill Road for People don't talk to me. They decline interview requests. Cam Cycle decline interview requests. They don't want to be interviewed. They don't want to engage with scrutiny, and they don't answer questions. Now, bringing it back round to the fact of the matter, £10 spent on beer and £30 odd spent on a Chinese meal is really small in comparison. And let's just bear in mind as well, and I want to remind everybody that when we started the campaign fund, we each put £100 in ourselves to get it started. So we have also contributed to it and spent months of research and hard work, writing, reading, compiling, talking to the barristers and things like that. After months of that voluntary work, don't you think that maybe a beer and a Chinese meal is somehow justified? Again, it wasn't my choice to do that, and the worst that you could call this thing, I think, is a bit of a PR gaffe by Pam to just come out and say it. Although in her defence, I would like to just say that she's been completely open and honest about it. And if you want to start bringing in sort of malicious accusations of misappropriation of funds, why don't we go and talk to the county council about the same thing, or the GCP, and ask them what they do with their funds and see how honest and open and transparent they'll be. Like I said, this is a PR gaffe. I want to mend it now. We'll put the money back in to cover the Chinese food and just say, look, let's agree we won't spend any more of the money on food or refreshments and things. But it has been a long, hard road, and like I said, let's put some perspective into this picture. What's going on next door at the moment? This clique, this small group of people who have been campaigning tirelessly to close Mill Road Bridge, they're also the ones who've been campaigning to bring in the congestion charge. And since losing the battle for the congestion charge earlier in the week, they're first of all, they're livid, they're angry, and now they're going to be reactivated, and they're about to re-engage all of their sort of deceitful, duplicitous lies, and to re-campaign, and they'll focus all of their efforts now on Mill Road Bridge. Also, just to give you a little bit of background context, so that's what's happening now. These people are now using everything that they've got to attack us, and the worst thing that they could find was that Pam bought some beers and some Chinese, but then she admitted it straight away, and now I'm apologising for it. We're going to carry on regardless, because we're in the middle of a war, a battle, a war of words, but also a war between different campaign organisations. And the campaign organisation who want the bridge to close use lies, and they use dirty tricks. These guys are the lowest of the low, in my opinion, and this is the reason why I don't engage with them, because I had my next door account suspended when I tried to promote or advertise the fact that we were having a fundraiser to do a judicial review. A judicial review is a very important democratic mechanism which we as citizens have the right to use if our councillors break the rules, which in this case they absolutely have done. We compiled and put together a case which shows clearly 5 separate pieces of law, legislation and duties which the council had, which they neglected or breached. And that is what we're taking to the judge, to say, look, judge, the TRO for the Mill Road Bridge is illegal, and we want the council to answer to the judge. That's what we're doing. Since we've been going, they've thrown absolutely everything they have at us to stop us. They've tried intimidating us, saying that they're going to drain all of our money, they're going to charge us all of these thousands of pounds for expenses and things like that. We held our nerve and went through with it. The defence which they've put back to us is this huge, long, elaborate, elasticated, clutching at straws, really, interpretation of the law. They use words like you have to use a different standard of reasoning, or the decisions which are made by councillors are all down to the officers, and actually what councillors say during the debate doesn't have any outcome on it. Things like this. It's just like amazingly I've lost the thought of it, I lost the word for it. But our case was clear and concise and makes sense when you look at it. Their defence is long and they've had to dig out all of these obscure case law references to defend themselves. And in the meantime of that, we managed to discover that actually they were trying to close the bridge anyway in spite of the judicial review. And you will probably remember in the news, and to us, they said that the works which were due to start on the September the 11th were not to do with the TRO. Repeat, they said it was not to do with the TRO. They were separate roadworks. We didn't believe them, obviously, so we rang up the streetworks team and got the blueprints. And lo and behold, there you have the blueprints for the TRO. It says it 3 times. You've got this bit here that says busgate ahead. You've got this bit here that says new busgate, and the project name itself is Mill Road Busgate. And so we caught them out red-handed for that, lying to us and lying to the public in the newspaper. They've tried to disregard the actual courts of law. Even though they're under judicial review, which is pending, they tried to push the roadworks ahead anyway. And since we caught them out doing that, they postponed it from the 11th till the 25th of September. And now for some reason it's been postponed again till I think the 9th of October. We don't know why, but these guys have been caught doing something illegal, and now they're trying to do everything they can to stop being rumbled. And part of that is now to discredit Mill Road, Friends of Mill Road Bridge. And like I said, if the only thing that they can find is the fact that Pam bought some beer and some Chinese food, then in the grander context, while I agree that doesn't look good on a PR level, in reality, they are now going to start pulling out all the stops and get ready and get prepared for an actual battle to take place. Like I said, it's a war of words, but the worst that they can do is to spread lies and misinformation to try to discredit us when all we're doing is going, look, Judge, we've got the documents, we've got the evidence, we're being honest, we're being citizens, we want to protect the bridge from the likes of these people. And we know the reason why we're doing it, and we know who we're doing it for. They are not in the majority. They are a small group of people who have campaigned based on lies to close the bridge. And the reason is for that, because, I don't know, maybe they actually believe the indoctrination of the air quality thing, or they're using that as an excuse. But the reality is that closing that bridge is worth £150,000 to the council, and active travel. And look at the plans of what they're trying to do to the bridge. It is an assault on Mill Road. They are taking the bridge. They are literally taking it for themselves. They are going to turn it into a big plastered cycle bridge, even though they've got a cycle bridge 200 yards up the road, Carter Bridge, and that's something which nobody acknowledges. And I just think that everything that's been going on is so wrong, has rubbed me up so badly the wrong way. And all of these people on next door, your James Embertons, your Matthew Winterbottoms, your John Tees, these guys are like agents of the Dark Lord, frankly. They'll go on there and they'll spread. They're all over my videos. They're the ones who shut me down and censor me. And this is the reason why I don't engage with them anymore, because, like I said, next door is a cesspit, a cesspool of vicious, toxic, arguing, lying, misinforming, all that sort of thing. And it's plain when you see it. And anybody who disagrees with it or says something which they don't like, the moderators just shut them down. So it's a censored platform. It's there to promote this evil agenda, to close the roads of Cambridge, to close the bridge, all of this stuff. The Coton Orchard, this is also associated with it as well. They're basically working for the GCP. The same forces which have taken over the GCP to profit are the forces who put out all of these lies and misinformation on the internet. And one of the standard plays, one of the standard tactics for people like this is to discredit your enemy, and that's us. As far as I can see, we haven't done anything wrong. We'll put the money back in for the beer and the Chinese food, and we won't do it again, but we're going to stay strong and we're going to keep going. The bridge stays open. The campaign goes on. Cambridge stays free. If you want to try to discredit Friends of Mill Road Bridge, you've got to discredit me. Thank you.